Hi, welcome to Tony's Quick Tips. Is there anything more frustrating in business than trying to network and build up connections only to be rejected out of hand or ignored completely? Now, I see this in action, and to be fair, I'm guilty of doing it. I see it every day on LinkedIn. People trying to network and establish connections who I reject or ignore. Now, before you decide that I'm just a very rude person, let me explain why it happens so that you don't fall into the same trap that others do. There's 5 simple things to get right if you want to give your networking a chance of succeeding. But before we get to them, let's just role play how the online networking is done by a lot of people. Let's imagine that we're in a real world business networking situation down at a BNI meeting or a conference or something similar. Suddenly a person pushes into your presence, appearing from nowhere, and says to you, "Give me your number, I'll give you a call maybe." And then they turn and walk away. That'd just be bizarre, wouldn't it? But that's what actually happens in the virtual or the digital sense about a dozen times a day in my world. And I'm sure we've all been guilty of doing it at some stage when we were ignorant, we didn't know better. On LinkedIn, somebody sends the generic and impersonal LinkedIn connection request to you, somebody you've never heard of, there's nothing personal about it. So you look at their profile to see who or what they are or what they do. Often there's no photo. Often they're working in parts of the world that I've got no intention of ever visiting, or they're in industries that I know absolutely nothing about and I have no interest in really. We don't seem to have anything in common. It's just a stranger who's hit me from nowhere. So I ignore them. I move on. It's pretty simple. But those people reached out for a reason, presumably because they thought that I would be potentially a good customer for their business, but they never gave themselves a chance. So imagine if that was your ideal customer who's just rejected you out of hand and it was so avoidable. For online networking, you need to use some of the same social skills that you use in the real world. You need to be visible, have a photo that actually looks like you, and it's friendly and it's engaging so that they get a sense of who you are. You need to be polite. Start with some common courtesies, just generally common courtesies that you would use every day. Be personal. Let them know that you've taken the time to learn something about them. Show that you're actually genuinely interested in getting to know them. Be open. There's a reason for reaching out and wanting to network, so what is it? Tell them. What have you got? What's in it for me? Finally, be patient. Your connection request or your invitation was my interruption. Don't race to follow up just because you didn't hear back straight away. Give people time and space. Eager beavers are usually annoying a lot of the time, especially when they're strangers who are eager beavers. So get these 5 basics right. Give yourself a good chance of getting a decent reception when you reach out to a new connection and you're trying to network online instead of being summarily dismissed. And that's the quick tip for today.